to give everyone that heads up. Kate, would you mind going next?
Sure. My name's Kate Abuapsi. I have my degree in theater from a long time ago. I work at UT, and so I've been involved in the alumni aspects of our affiliate, and for quite some time now, and I'm excited to continue and hope to get some real momentum going, because I think that we have a lot of potential as obviously alumni of this college.
Thank you. And one of our new faces, Mr. Cobb.
Yeah, hey, Ray Cobb. I'm also a graduate of back when they called it Arts and Science, but Arts and Letters, communications graduate myself. I live here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm involved on a college board here in Georgia, and I thought it'd be neat to kind of maybe consider doing more for my alumni. I'm involved here with the alumni organization, and when I get a chance, I do come back to Toledo. So I thought I'd explore more, and I guess it was you or somebody invited me to come be a guest.
Thank you for joining us. What's the weather like in your area today?
70s.
I'm not jealous at all. I'm getting on a plane in a couple of weeks to head to Savannah, and I cannot wait.
Oh, you're going to enjoy that. You're going to enjoy that. Savannah's doing pretty well right now.
Very excited. I will be fully vaccinated by then, so I'm happy to get on an airplane and get to warmer weather.
We're in Georgia. Don't worry about vaccinations.
Is that what they say? Looks like we have Dawn on the call. Dawn, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm Dawn. I graduated in '90 in International Relations Political Science, back a long time before most of you. And just the pandemic brought a big change in my career path, so my time has opened up. And to be honest, I don't know if it's me paying attention or a change at Toledo Alumni Department. I'm not really sure. But in the last, I'm going to say like 5 years, I started noticing there were just like more things going on. There were these like more events, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, wow, that's really great. Oh, wow, that's really great. And so sort of the culmination of me doing all these things, I was like, I should be more involved. They seem to be doing stuff. So here I am.
Thank you for joining us. We're trying to build out a calendar. The pandemic has been challenging, but we're still trying. And Mr. Sondergeld, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Tom Sondergeld. I currently live in Chicago. My family still lives in Toledo, so I come there a little bit, not lately the past year, but do visit frequently. And I graduated from University of Toledo Department of Psychology back in 1987. And since then, I've been in human resources benefits leadership for quite a while in that space. I'm happy to join, and just was interested in exploring continuing to contribute to the University of Toledo. So thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Have you attended events in the Chicago area in the past? I recognize your name. I don't know if maybe we've met throughout the last couple of years. Okay.
A couple times. Tried to get to a couple things. I did a couple virtual things.
So we have tried, we were very hopeful that we would be in Chicago this August for an event. We had it all worked out where we were going to be socially distanced and safe, and it would be a small gathering, but our travel ban got pushed back yet again. So yeah. Fingers crossed when it's safe to travel. We have a new alumni rep for the Atlanta area as well. So we're very excited to hopefully get back on the road here soon. All right. Well, welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us this evening. Oh, Charlene, you're back. Would you mind introducing yourself to the group?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Charlene Gilbert. I'm the Dean of the College of Arts and Letters. I'm in my 4th year as Dean. And it's really nice to see all of you here tonight on the call.
Thank you. So, Charlene, I do have your PowerPoint presentation
Great.
up and loaded. But before we jump into that, I do want to note that the purpose of these meetings, because we have so many new faces on the call, we want to help reconnect you back to the College of Arts and Letters. Dean Gilbert's going to give us an update about what's been going on with the college, but I know that not all of you are local to the Toledo area, but that's okay. The one thing that we've learned throughout this pandemic is that we don't have to limit ourselves to events and opportunities just in the Toledo area. We do have quite a bit of alumni in Toledo, but we also have quite a bit of alumni in other areas of the country. So we want to continue to provide opportunities to connect with all of you. We hope that you brainstorm some suggestions as to how you want to stay connected. We're here to help make that happen. So as we kind of go through the meeting this evening, if there are things that you think of that you are interested in and that you would like to see from your alumni association, please feel free to share them. That's the purpose of these meetings. But with that, Charlene, are you okay to jump into your presentation?
I am. Can you help me with the advancing it and things like that?
I can do that.
That'd be awesome.
There we go.
Well, I think if all of you were not here in December, is that right? This is all.
We had Adam on the call in December, but all new faces for the most part.
Okay. But for the newbies, just to give you a little bit of an overview, I like to I'll give a little bit of overview just of the college writ large. So the College of Arts and Letters, as you all know, many of you sounds like you graduated from the College of Arts and Sciences. Maybe you graduated from the College of Languages, Literature, and Social Sciences. Maybe you just graduated from the College of Communication and Arts. So as you know, the college has had some reorganizations over the last 10 years. I think we've settled in, and it's going to be, again, this is the 4th year as the College of Arts and Letters. And the College of Arts and Letters is sort of represents most of what you would have known as the College of Arts and Sciences. So it's all the arts, all the social sciences, and all the humanities. Math and science became a separate college. So that's who we are. And again, this college was reconfigured around 2016, and we've been going pretty strong. And I think the thing that I'm really cognizant of is that most people actually are most tied to their departments. So they know they remember their faculty from the Department of Psychology or the Department of Political Science or the Department of Art. So the department's all the same. They've been the same for 100 years. And so many of the faculty that you know are probably still here. The college is about 1,600 students, about 1,400 undergraduates and about 200 graduate students. We have we have 3 doctoral programs, over 24 different majors. We have a number of graduate programs, and we give out about $600,000 a year in terms of scholarship dollars to students in the College of Arts and Letters. And that's not including the scholarships they might be eligible for at the university as a whole. We've been really focused on trying to kind of grow the college. And one of the things we really like to do, which is why I'm so glad to see all of you, is we love to connect our students with alumni who are successful in their fields. And so the students always enjoy sort of meeting alumni and hearing what they're doing on sort of the other side of the college. Tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about our spring enrollment and give you a little bit of context of kind of what we're facing in the context of the pandemic and the havoc that has caused not only our nation and the globe, but also our students right here locally. And I'll talk a little bit about that. We have some new minors I'm really excited to share that we're just beginning to roll out this year, and many students we hope will be interested in those. We have, I want to talk to you about a couple of programs that we've been doing to kind of support our students, because we want to make sure all of our students are successful. And so we have a number of programs that we put in place to kind of support that success. I'm going to talk a little bit about the new budget model. We have a new president and a new budget model, and just a little bit about how that impacts us as a college. And then I'll talk about the priorities we have for the upcoming year and our commencement plans. So we'll go to the next slide. So our spring 2021 enrollment. So our fall enrollment, we actually did much better than we were expecting. We actually, coming out of, none of us have ever been through a pandemic. So in the fall, we actually thought a lot of students would just opt out, that they would say, you know what, I'm not coming, just gonna skip this year. It's pandemic craziness. Turned out a lot of those high school kids were determined to go to college no matter what. And so for our college, we were the only college where we were actually up in direct from high school admits. So we had more kids coming direct from high school last fall than we did the previous fall, even in the middle of a pandemic. The challenge was that between fall and spring, I think once students got here and realized, and a lot of students, we were almost entirely online in the fall in order to keep everyone safe. A lot of students were not, if there were no quads, they were being spread out. Some students were, first semester in college, whatever they imagined that was going to look like, lots of people and parties. None of that was happening. Most of the classes are online. And so there was really, I think it was really challenging. A lot of our students definitely struggled with feeling isolated and alone. As a result, we saw a dip in enrollment between fall and spring. So we know that a lot of students decided after fall not to come back. Our retention rate was 82% from fall to spring this year, and the year before it had been closer to 92%. And so we were really concerned. But when we drilled down to look at the students who we lost between fall and spring, what we found was the same thing we see in society writ large. The pandemic was having a much stronger impact on the students of color and low-income students, and those are the exact students that we lost at a greater percentage from fall to spring. So we are hoping that we'll figure out ways to get those students back involved, get those students back connected so they can get back on track and be here in the fall. But we understand that a lot of them were, they were the ones who had to watch kids while their parents went back to work. They were the ones in helping their little brothers and sisters get through online school. So, or they were dealing with grief and loss from the numbers of people that we lost to the pandemic. So, we are impacted by, we're part of this whole sort of environment, atmosphere, ecosphere. And so we understand that, and we have to think about strategies that respond to that. On the bright side, we have a lot of new and exciting things that we're offering our students as options. So we have a new minor in documentary production and practice. I am actually a documentary filmmaker by training, so I'm particularly excited about this because I'm really looking forward to having that opportunity. That's going to be a class where they're taking documentary classes, both in photography and film and media classes. So that's, we're hoping will be a great opportunity for our students. We also have a new community arts education minor for students who want to major, or who are majoring in art, but really want to work in like community art centers and arts education initiatives. And so that's going to provide some specific coursework to prepare them for that. We also have, it's not on here, we have a brand new Latinx and Latin American Studies minor that just got approved and will be on the books for the fall. And we're really excited about that one as well. One of the other programs we developed, one of my highest priorities for the college and the students of the college is to make sure as many students are getting engaged in undergraduate research and so the high impact practices that we know define high quality undergraduate education. And so one of the programs that I started since I've been here was the Arts and Letters Scholars Program. And this is sort of a program aimed at highly engaged students. So they may not, some of these students may be in honors college, but maybe they are students who are passionate about their art or creative work, or maybe they are active student leaders, or maybe they've been really engaged in service. We wanted to create a space for those students who are really engaged and really want to kind of be in the company of other highly engaged students had a place. So we created this scholars program. They're nominated, it's based on their GPA, their incoming GPA as a freshman, but they can also be nominated by their faculty, and they can also submit an application. And the students in this program do special trips. One of the trips they went to the Detroit Institute for Art. Again, this was pre-pandemic, obviously. Two of our art faculty met them there, gave them sort of a personalized tour, and then the kids went out to dinner in Detroit at different restaurants in like pods of 4 and 5. I talked to the students. I think their favorite thing about that trip was the bus ride there. They love the bus ride and they love the dinner. They love going out in Detroit to like some cool restaurant without us. And I think they enjoyed the art at the museum, but I know those two parts were a big hit. And then they did a similar trip. They went to see a play in Cleveland. They've done some trips downtown Toledo. And so again, it's just, you know, I was a corny kid in college, you know, deep into the life of the mind. And I know that, you know, it always is good to be able to create you know, everyone's got to find, I was not like in a sorority, that wasn't kind of my space, but having a space where you can be connected to people who are like-minded was a valuable thing for me. And I thought it'd be a valuable thing for the students, and they all seem to really enjoy it. So we've continued to do that. We also started a program called Junior Year Check-In, which I'm particularly passionate about. So the idea of the Junior Year Check-In is, I feel like my obligation to parents, when I talk to incoming parents and students, I talk about, you know, we're going to take care of your students. And if I'd been your dean when you guys are here, that would have been my promise to your parents and to you. So we want them to come. We want them to do well their freshman year, well enough that they come back for the sophomore year, because that's the best indicator of success and graduation rate, that first year retention. But I also know that 1/3 of the students in the College of Arts and Letters are the first in their families to go to college. So that means that a lot of them, you know, their parents are doing this amazing thing, getting them to college, but they don't always know what happens after that. And I remember talking to a family once. It was a young woman. She was an honor student. She was really smart. And she was first generation college student. Her parents were talking to me, and they wanted to know, they said her daughter wanted to go to medical school. And they wanted to know if she was going to have to stay here to go to medical school, because, you know, would she be able to transfer somewhere else? And we were having this conversation. I didn't quite understand their question. And then I realized that they actually didn't understand what happened after getting the bachelor's degree. And so I said, no, your daughter can go anywhere to medical school. Like, you don't have to stay here. You can, you know, go apply. And I realized, so I felt like part of, some kids are going home and their parents have their whole life planned out, right? When I was in college, one of my roommates, her parents were sending her notes saying, you know, Dr. Beth. They put a little stress on her. She didn't do so well. but, you know, their parents had a plan. They talked to her about what was going to happen after college. They talked to her about what she needed to do. But there are a lot of kids who don't have that. And so I feel like we have an obligation to do that for our kids, for the students here in the College of Arts and Letters. So the Junior Check-In is an opportunity for us to check in with every single junior, the department chairs and the faculty advisors each department, and say to them, what is it you want to be doing after you graduate? What's your plan? Let's make a plan. I always tell students, I love making plans. And I remember one year a young lady took me up on it, and she came to see me, and it was like a Friday afternoon. She came to see me in my office hours. She said she was graduating. She wasn't sure what she was going to do after graduation. And so I said, well, have you talked to your advisor? She says, no, I hadn't been able. She's in a different college, hadn't been able to get an advisor. But I'm like, that's fine. I still, even though she's not in my college, I can still help her. So I said, well, have you talked to any of your faculty? She said, no, she hadn't met any of your faculty. She had a lot of big classes in this other program that she was in. So I, went through a few questions. I said, okay, well, that's okay. We can still figure out something. So then I said, okay, so when will you be graduating? She said, oh, I graduate on Saturday. It was Friday afternoon. I was like, okay, so wish you'd come to see me a year ago. We could have made a plan. It's a little tough now. So based on that, that's why I said the Junior Check-In is an opportunity for us to, if what you want to do is end up in DC, working for a senator, then we can help you get an internship at the Washington Internship Center and after your junior year. So you go to DC, you make contacts, you're going to go meet all those people, and maybe that can lead to an opportunity. If what you want to do is work in public policy in Chicago, then maybe we can set you up with a shadow opportunity for an alum who lives in Chicago, is doing policy work. So if what you want to do is go to graduate school, we'll tell you about a lot of kids don't know that they will pay you to go to graduate school. You don't have to, some students will say, I'll say, you're really smart. Have you thought about going to graduate school? Like, oh, I don't want to go any more debt. And I said, actually, good graduate programs, they pay you. They're going to give you a stipend. You're not going to live on, you're not going to be, living in an expensive apartment, but you have enough money to live, and they're going to pay your tuition. And so it was like, what? I'm like, yeah, you don't go into more debt, but you can, you can live the life of a graduate student. Professional school, we help them find professional schools. And so we go through all the options and get them thinking about so they can start making a plan so that when they graduate, they're walking into whatever that next opportunity is they want. And then I had some students who say, well, I just don't know what I want to do, Dean Gilbert. I just, I think I just need to take a year off. And my thing is, there are lots of cool things you can do while you're figuring it out that do not involve going home to live in your parents' basement. I have 2 teenage daughters and I'm sending them up to college. I expect that college to like keep them going. And so I'm like, so we have a young woman graduated from sociology degree. She did AmeriCorps. She spent a year working with a Native American tribe in South Dakota while she was thinking about what she wanted to do. Another young woman went to the Peace Corps. And then, after that was able to figure out. So that was a far more interesting way to spend that year, right? Than kind of, back in your bedroom. So we are really pushing this program so that every graduating senior has a plan for what they're going to do after college. And we make sure that they know all the possibilities for the things that they're interested in and want to help them get on track. And so I feel like if I get them off to that next level, then I've done my job as their dean. We got them through, they've had a world-class education, and they're off to the next thing. A lot of people have been asking us about what's going to happen on the campus in terms of the COVID. And I can tell you a lot is changing. It's changing fast things have just sped up literally in the last 2 days. So initially we were thinking that maybe we would all be vaccinated by the end of August, which was going to have a certain kind of impact on what fall looked like. Now with all the new vaccines and things seeming to go a lot faster, we may be back to normal, or at least back to something that looks like fall 19 a lot sooner than we thought. But for now, we're still planning to have a mix of face-to-face and in-person classes in the fall. Our goal is to have 80% of the classes be face-to-face, 20% be online or distance learning. And we are currently, the college is somewhere around like 75-25 right now, but we may be getting up to higher numbers. Right now, one of the biggest constraints is that the classrooms still have to be socially distant. So you take a classroom that used to fit 100 people. Imagine closing off seats so that you only have people every 6 feet. That reduces the capacity to about 30, 20. So that's one of the reasons why we can't quite get to 80 yet, but we think, who knows, again, if the vaccination process goes well and the variants we're protected against the variants, maybe they will change that limit and we could be completely back to what we were next fall. So that's an ongoing conversation. And we anticipate that we'll still be wearing masks in the fall. That part, I think, we'll continue to wear masks, and we'll still probably continue to have some level of social distance while we make sure that we have reached actually herd immunity. So we have a number of priorities for the college. We're trying to, we were trying to hire 19 faculty positions across the college. The university, the new president, Greg Postal, you may have heard, has put aside a $20 million reinvestment fund that we're trying to leverage to get some of the hires that we need for the college. There's a new director for the Toledo Museum of Art, Adam Levine, and we are working with him on a university-wide collaboration that's going to have a focus in humanities. Right now, we've been looking at some kind of humanities lab that we might be able to have our faculty lead and have it based at the Toledo Museum of Art. We continue to be focused on student engagement. So the junior check-in, as I just told you about, one of my, again, favorite projects. We also been doing this virtual series this year, it's called Tell Me Your Story, where we've been trying to highlight people who have traditional liberal arts degrees and are doing really cool things. So we had someone who had a political science degree who became the production designer for Hamilton. We had, last week, we had a gentleman who's a TV writer. I think his degree was in theater and film, and he is that right, Kate? That was Frankie Gonzalez. He's a writer for a show called 13 Reasons Why on Netflix, and is working in Hollywood. So we've been highlighting different successful people with that kind of background who've gone on to do interesting things. We've been highlighting alumni, so all of you might get a call if you're willing to share your stories with your former department chairs. We're building out, trying to make sure that we have a place where students can learn what the alumni are doing. Well, we have a number of events, monthly events aimed at kind of creating community for students, because we know, again, that one of the things that they identified was a little bit of disconnect. So we've been doing, I think, scavenger hunts, little things that we to supplement what they're doing through student affairs. We continue to do our college scholars program, although a little reduced this year, but we're going to be back in full force for the fall. I have a student advisory board that I meet with where I get lots of good information about what they're experiencing. And the last one, it was great. I got an update on how they were doing, and actually they were doing okay. I think that they all kind of settled in for the spring, found their way, and we're doing okay. And they told me about this whole thing called Zoom ranting. And they taught me how to do a Zoom rant, and it was quite fun. I don't know if you guys know about this phenomenon, but I did not. And it was just, just a rant. Each Zoom participant got to do it. And we continue to do a lot of the things that we traditionally have done. We've done them virtually. We did a recognition for all the students who made the Dean's List. Usually that's a luncheon, but we just did that last week as a virtual event. And it actually turned out to be a lot of fun. We had door prizes, and I think they appreciated it, even if we couldn't be in person together. Another project I'm going to be working on is the Leadership Academy to kind of build up the opportunities for faculty to step into academic leadership positions and make sure we're training a cadre of faculty who can help lead the college and as we go forward. And you probably don't know, but the university gets accredited every 10 years. And so the reaffirmation of our accreditation will happen in the fall. And so we're busy as a university and a college preparing for the visit from the accreditors next November 8th and 9th. This is real small. The university under the new president is moving to something called the RCM budget model. So we've been really involved in looking at that. I can tell you I'm part of the committee that's working on that. And we are really want to make sure that the arts, humanities, and social sciences are not harmed by the models. We're being told that it's going to be great. We're going to love it. It should be good. We will see. But that's a new budget modernization, and I don't think the university's had this kind of overhaul in their budget approach in probably 15, 20 years. So the new president has a lot of big ideas for the university, and I'm really excited that he is the new permanent president. And I think that he's already done a lot for the university in just the 6 months he's been here. He's really been doing a great job. And commencement, the big news on commencement is that we will now have an in-person commencement. So we thought we were going to be doing it virtually because of everything, but just yesterday they sent out the announcement that the University of Toledo will have an in-person spring commencement. They're going to do it in different sort of what's the word I'm looking for? They're rolling it out, so there'll be one section at a time. So we won't all be together in the stadium, but like there might be 2 colleges on the field at one time. They'll do an hour of graduation, and then they leave, and then another 2 colleges come in. So we're going to do it like that so that we don't have everyone at the same time, but every student will get to attend, and every student who didn't get to attend their graduation last spring has been invited to attend this year for this event. So hopefully anyone who would like to have an in-person graduation will finally get that. The college does an annual, I don't know if this is true for all of you, but we've had we do an honors and awards ceremony where we recognize the outstanding student for each department. So we're going to do that in person. We're going to do that in front of University Hall outside. We're just going to do one student at a time. So rather than having 200 people in a room and then they call them up to the stage, we're just going to, there are 19 outstanding student award winners usually. They'll each get invited. They can bring 2 family members, and we will have them come. We will put the medal on them, do the ceremony, congratulate them, do photos. They'll leave, and then the next. So we'll do that until we get through all 19 one at a time, but it will be in person, and we are looking forward to that. And then we'll continue to use the virtual platform to take recorded messages of congratulations, and departments are doing specific activities to try to make it as personal as possible for the students. We know it's been wow, it has been a long year. And so we are trying to make sure that our students leave with a little bit of joy after a very tough year. And that is it. And I'm so happy to answer any questions or comments that you all might have. maybe we can make the PowerPoint go away.
Yes, that's the one I'm working on.
Okay.
Alrighty, there we go. You'd think that I would have the virtual platforms figured out by now, but it's never, never easy for me. Any questions for Dean Gilbert?
Very busy, it sounds. It's good.
Yeah, we are. We've
Lot going on,
been
it's good.
busy, and it's a lot to try to manage, to try to like transform things from in-person to virtual versions of things, and while also trying to move things forward.
Do you think through 2021, you're going to be offering kind of like a dual for people who want to stay virtual, they can, and for people who want to come in can, or are you kind of staggering or?
That's interesting that the faculty are really concerned about that. I think there's some faculty that are hoping to just have one format, like they've lived through the they've lived through the pandemic. But on the other hand, there are a number of faculty that now see, you know, I don't know where you all live, how people are responding to the pandemic, but I've heard two things. Like I've heard, I was on a panel once and someone said something like, nothing has changed for us. We're doing the same thing we always did and everything is fine. And I was thinking, wow, that's crazy. like everything changed for us. And so I think that that's one of the things that that we're going to be thinking about as a college. And I think in higher education, it's sort of like what we've been through is kind of extraordinary, right? And what we managed to do has been extraordinary. It would be sad not to take the best of what we've learned with us out of it, right? And so one of the things that some of the departments are discovering is like, hey, this dual model where you have people in the room and you have someone on the joining you virtually, it can work. And we did it for a year. So why don't we keep doing it? So we have one department, our department of sociology, we're in the process of developing a 2+2 agreement with a community college in California. California has the opposite problem with higher education than we do. So here we don't, you know, our demographics are getting smaller and smaller, and we have fewer students, and we're all like competing for students. In California, they have so many students, they don't have any spaces for them in their higher education system. So when I go to a conference with the deans, and I'm sitting at a table with a dean from the California school, they say, oh yeah, we're having enrollment problems. I'm like, yeah, we are too. And then they say, we just don't know where to put all our students. I'm like, what? That's not my enrollment problem. That is a very different problem. Yeah, we just, you know, we got Saturday classes, we got them online. It's just exhausting. We've doubled our FTE in like a year. I'm like, what? So we just had a meeting with the Saddleback, and it's like, we got kids with a 4.0 graduating from our you know, with an associate's degree, and we can't get them into a 4-year school because there are no spots. So we're gonna do a partnership with them so those students can come and complete their sociology degree at the University of Toledo and do it all virtually. And we're gonna do it by opening up their seats available in these classes. Those kids are just gonna be joining us virtually. And so I think that's, so some departments I think are going to be taking advantage of that and thinking about how do we use this experience that we just had, take that technology and that technological knowledge that we gained and leverage it to grow our programs. And, you know, and occasionally there's going to be somebody who's like, no, I can't imagine ever doing that again. But I think that that's the direction of higher education, is that we're going to take the best of what we learned out of this experience and hopefully leverage it to grow our institution.
Yeah, particularly through this year until everybody gets vaccinated, right? And the younger population are going to be last, unfortunately. And so, and there are people at risk are having a hard time getting it. So it's just until we get through July, I think it's going to be the case.
Well, here in Toledo, they just opened up a bunch of slots. So there are
in Chicago, there's none.
Really? So
No,
we got 50 and under. Are you guys doing 50 and under in Chicago?
We're still at 65. And they're allowed, they're into 1B plus, which is anybody who has a precondition, so diabetes, but nobody else under 65. Wow. So but we can't even get enough vaccine to do 65 yet. So
wow.
You must have some extra, because I'm in Detroit and many people are on Rite Aid getting their appointments in Toledo and driving down for it. So you're way ahead of
the suburbs of Chicago. The Walgreens and the CVSs are sending out texts saying, we have it, come get it. don't matter how old you are. And Chicago's sitting here like a dry mess. And so I think they just need to figure out the distribution nightmare.
Yeah.
Plus Chicago's so massive, right? It's like treating a state.
Yeah.
And they're just out of it. There's no appointments whatsoever, even for first vaccine 65. So I think it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
But that's good to hear about Toledo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have a good point about the younger people. Like, I don't know when they're going to get to the 20-year-olds. And those are, so yeah, so that's why we say we will probably still be social distancing and wearing masks in the fall, because it will take us a while to get safely into herd immunity.
But teachers are now they're in the same in healthcare workers, right?
Well,
Educators.
K-12 teachers are, but not higher education teachers, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, we pushed on
I
that.
would think that would be the bigger risk.
I know. You know, the governor really wanted the schools and universities to be back face-to-face. And part of what we said was, then how about we make sure that the professors that are teaching face-to-face, they should get the vaccine with the K-12 teachers.
Yeah.
And we kept sending that request up, all the deans and the president and the provost, but they decided not to do that. I think in some ways we may be suffering from, you know, just doing so well, because the governor has also said, universities seem to have done a great job. They didn't really have any outbreaks. You guys did a great job. And so I think that as a result, it's sort of like, you guys don't need the vaccine.
Okay.
So,
well, until the kids start coming back and partying again.
Right. But now that we got the vaccine for 50 plus, that's a lot of my faculty, I can tell you're very happy this week. A lot of them are getting vaccinated this Saturday. And so I think that's I think 40 to 60 is the sweet spot for my faculty. And so hopefully they will all get vaccinated by the end of spring.
And it sounds like you're rolling out some new programs at the same time. So that's really encouraging that there's still some growth within the college.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing we're going to, you know, catch our breath, but then I think once it's sort of like when it's safe to come out, I think we want to really hit the ground running. And I think that we are, you know, have used this time to figure out some new things. So again, developing creative 2+2 partnerships. We got some new minors that we're going to offer, some new curricular options. We have a new major in data analytics that we didn't really get to roll out this year. And so we're going to be able to roll that out for next year. And hopefully that will be an exciting opportunity for students. We have a new graduate certificate in disability studies. Again, that got shelved during the pandemic. And now it's coming off the shelf, and we're going to be admitting students for that in the fall. So there's a lot of exciting things, I think, on the horizon. And I think, yeah, I think everyone's going to be really, I think the campus will be one of the most joyful places next fall when everybody's back, and, you know.
Yeah, and just one more question.
I can't wait to go out for cocktails.
Just one more question from me. I don't mean to monopolize, but
no, I'm sorry.
So there's a huge demand for mental health, right? And so do you see psychology kind of like having that demand for learning as well? And I would think that we'd start to see a lot of people entering into that field, just because there's such huge demand for mental health and there's not enough practitioners.
Yeah. Our psychology department, the doctoral program is ranked in U.S. News and World Report. It's moved up like 6 spots in the last 3 years. We get top, really great students, and we admit about 10 students a year, and that's up from admitting about 5 students a year. So the program is definitely growing. It costs a lot to support a doctoral student, so we like to give all the doctoral students full support. So we are sort of capped at, I think we can get to 10. I don't know if we currently have much more funding than that, but the psychology major in the college is the largest major in the college. Psychology and communication are the 2 largest majors. A lot of students do come from, they watch these shows, these kind of like, what do you call these shows? I don't know what they're called. They're like Criminal Minds, and so they come thinking they're going to do forensic psychology, and, you know, and then after the first semester, they're like, well, this is
no,
like,
I don't want to do that.
when are we going to interview the
I don't want to talk to people.
When do I go out in the field and analyze bones? I'm like, yeah, no.
I don't want to talk to people.
Take that test and learn some stats. So, but for the students that do stay in it, you know, it's a really, really one of our strongest programs. So our top students are usually in psychology. And I think you're right about the growth and the need for mental health services. And So it is a growing area. Certainly in the Lucas County area, we are desperate for more mental health providers. There's actually, and I think that this experience coming out of the pandemic, we're going to see a lot more people who really struggled. It's sort of like there are the people, you want to protect yourself from the virus, which is good. But in doing that, a lot of people were isolated, and that took a toll on their mental health. And so that balance is something we see. We have a clinic that we made available to students in the staff by the psychology graduate students. So we have the Student Health Counseling Center, but we also have the psychology clinic run out of our psychology department that's been also helping with some of that work in the community.
Just one other area of concentration the college might think about is digital health is becoming the new, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, migraine pill. It's really got a huge growth going on in the marketplace. And I just wondered if you might think about looking at something around helping people prepare for the new marketplace that's very digitally focused, or in the digital health arena. Just something to think about with your connection to MCO, if you still have it.
We do.
Might be something there. I don't know. Just it's a big deal for the employer.
Do you mean like telehealth appointments?
Everything is being done by digital health, from diabetes management to musculoskeletal disease, back injury to tobacco cessation. It's all being done digitally now, and the digital space is so massive that it should be something the college is thinking about for the future, because I think it's just going to really take over how we manage ourselves. Telehealth, I mean, prior to COVID, telehealth was a joke. People thought telehealth was going to be nothing. And then COVID hit and telehealth just went exponential growth. And now everybody knows you can do it. And so now everybody's doing it like crazy. And there's so many startups coming out of California that are just doing tons of stuff in the digital arena that it's worth exploring as an opportunity.
I think that's a really good idea, particularly with our communication department. We have some certificates around social media and other kinds of digital media and technology, and combining that with health. We also have 3 new faculty in the college that are focused on health humanities. So we have a professor in women's and gender studies who does looks at the history of health and underserved populations. We have another professor in disability studies, which is we're the only university in the state to have a major in disability studies, and she does a lot of work looking at disability as trying to sort of challenge the notion of this as a medical model, and thinking about the ways in which it's constructed, and sort of working with medical professionals to think about kind of what that might mean in terms of how they think about treatment. And then we have another new professor who's joined our college, who actually her whole research is in public health, and she's going to be doing work around gender and public health. So that's a really great idea. And we have a little bit of between the psychology faculty and the fact that I mentioned, that actually might be a real opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, the mental health, the digital health space in mental health, like companies like Ginger and Calm and all those, they're all mental health digital services. They're not at all going to do anything local. So just thinking about that. And then I'll shut up for the rest of the group, because
no, thank you. This is great. These are great, all great ideas. I really appreciate it.
I just dropped a link into the chat box. I don't know if this would be of interest to you or anyone on the call, but we have an upcoming event taking place. I want to say it's March 18th, with one of our distinguished alumni from the College of Nursing, Dr. Debbie Samsel. She is a director of evidence-based practice and research, I believe, in Dayton, Ohio. And she also works for the University of Cincinnati, but she is a rock star in the telehealth world. She's currently working on a patent for a drone to go into your homes, and you need your dogs to be behind closed doors, is what I'm told, for this drone that she's developing. But it is a continuing education program in nursing, but it's going to be a very educational event about the future of telehealth. So if you're interested in kind of hearing from her and how she sees telehealth going in the next couple of years, you're more than welcome to join. Any other questions for Dean Gilbert, or anything else that you're interested in knowing about the College of Arts and Letters?
Yeah,
I
hey,
do
Ray
want to
Cobb.
know. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, some pretty exciting programs and lots going on from when I left there. But I was just curious, excluding like Northwest Ohio, Cleveland, where are folks that are attracted to CNL? Where are they coming from? Skipping the Northwest Ohio, maybe Cleveland, and then where are they going? Again, skipping, excluding Northwest Ohio.
Right. Well, I think in general, the majority of our students that come to the university are coming from within like an hour radius of the campus. But when we get beyond that, we do get a lot of students. We are getting like we get a handful from California. We're getting a few from Illinois, and a few from Michigan. We get Michigan is probably the next big state that we get students from. And in terms of where they're going, again, I think one of our roles is in the region is to provide talent to the local community. Toledo is really growing as a city. I think the vibrancy has certainly grown a lot since I've been here, and I've been here over 12 years. And so we're getting more students that are staying locally. The head of the Toledo Arts Commission in town is a graduate of our college. The owner of like the largest sort of independent owned art business is a graduate of our college. The head of TARTA, the transportation, was a graduate of our college. We have numbers of our graduates from our geography and planning department that are working in the water department, working in the auditor's office, working in, we have people who graduate with our master's in public administration, working in city government. So we have provided a real talent pipeline to the region. If they don't stay in the region, I think that from what I've done, because I did do a tour visiting alumni my first year, going to different cities, and it seems like we have a lot of alumni in Washington, D.C. and Florida. And so those are the two, and maybe Sam can speak to that, but those seem to be where a lot of our alums are ending up if they don't if they don't stay in the Midwest region. Those are two places where we see a lot of them landing and being very successful.
I can't speak specifically to this college, but overall, yes, we do see a lot of our alumni graduating and heading to actually the Chicago and DC areas where we see a lot of our younger alums gravitating towards. I kind of oversee our East Coast chapter, so the New England area, your Boston, Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey. We have a really tough time in those cities, not only recruiting, but finding alumni that are in those areas. But so I would say definitely like we see Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati. Obviously, those are the bigger areas in Ohio, but DC and Chicago would probably be my two largest areas that we see our alumni going to.
Mm-hmm.
All of our retirees and snowbirds are in Florida for sure. Lots of fun events down there this time of year when COVID's not here. I do want to point out, and Charlene, you might have to correct me if I'm getting this information incorrect, but the college also just recently launched a new e-newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter, is that correct?
Yeah.
So that has some really great information. The last couple months, I've gone through it, and it has virtual events that are taking place, alumni spotlight stories that pertain to the College of Arts and Letters. So if you haven't had a chance to view that yet, let us know. We'll make sure that your email is on the distribution list. It should be. As a graduate of the college, you should be receiving those, but it has some really great content in there and really keeps you connected to what's happening in the college. Any other questions?
I just wanted to say thank you for including me tonight. It is really great to get more connected now that I have this break from my old career to my new one. I love that junior check-in. I mean, nothing more excited me than what you said about that. I was certainly the first generation, certainly no one at home, nor I had any idea. One good professor steered me into a master's program that I didn't know existed, right? Phew. Right. So I just, I love that. So it's terrific to meet you. Thank you for your time tonight. It feels special. thank you.
You're very welcome. And I would love it if, if you are willing, or if you know other people that are willing to kind of be available to our students for, just a conversation to talk about kind of your careers and what you've been doing in your journey. I know that that could really be helpful.
Put me down. I
yeah.
even did some of the postcard writing this year. When I was
great.
mentioning earlier, there were all these events that you could all of a sudden, I was like, well, I'll write postcards to the accepted kids. That's fun. And so yeah, put me down for whatever. I'm here.
That'd be great. That'd be really great.
So I want to make sure that I keep to my hour time frame as much as I can, but something that I did want to ask the group, I'm so glad that you're able to get reconnected and get some information about the college. Adam, I have not forgot about the drawing event idea that you had at our December meeting. I've been in contact with Barbara Miner in the Department of Art, and we're trying
I'm sure it's tough.
bring that event to life. So I've not forgot about that. I can't draw to save my life. Stick figures don't look,
me either.
They're not recognizable. So that's coming. But something that I wanted to ask all of you, we will continue to have these alumni affiliate meetings monthly. Please join us. In addition to having Dean Gilbert provide an update about the college, we want to provide all of you to stay connected. That's the really great thing about these alumni affiliate boards, is that it's a networking opportunity for you to meet alums, not just in Toledo, but in Chicago and Atlanta. But one idea that I wanted to run past all of you is, how would you feel about a virtual networking opportunity for all alumni from this college? Now, I know, Charlene, you guys are working at a town hall event. Is that correct?
That's Thursday, March 18th at 4 p.m.
Okay. So something that we're doing with some of our other academic colleges is to host a virtual networking that would invite all alumni from the college, and we would host it via Zoom, but we would have different breakout rooms. So for example, if you were interested in connecting just with alumni from your specific program, you could go into that breakout room with your fellow alums from that program. If you're interested in connecting with people in Atlanta or, in kind of that chapter territory, you could go into a breakout room specifically with alumni from that area. But some colleges this works, some colleges people aren't interested. So what can we do? Is that an event that you think would be of interest? And if not, do you have any suggestions of things that you would like to see from your alumni association? Not to put all of you on the spot.
I like the idea of having something. I've been on a couple of alumni Zoom meetings, and I think it was really helpful for like the first time they launched one to kind of keep it broad prior to any segmentation, because there were just like so many people. I was like, oh my God, I can't remember, I was like, oh my God, and then later on segmentation, I think really works. But in the beginning, it was just like, oh my God, couldn't believe, so many people. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. Maybe just segmentation kind of, at the second one, maybe. That's my thought. It may work first time around, but for me, it worked just broad the first time.
You mentioned do you serve on another alumni association board? Did I hear that correctly?
In Georgia, it's not the Alumni Association board, it's just the college, the board here. And they started another college about 10, 11 years ago. And so I joined that board, so that's why I thought, well, maybe there's something I can do for the University of Toledo. I'm an alumni, a lifetime member. I try to, at some point I've been president of the Alumni Association here. So I was like, well, maybe I'll direct back towards the University of Toledo. So, yeah.
We'll be following up with you for sure. We'll pick your brain.
Yeah, I'd agree with what he said. I've done the alumni council and fundraising board for my high school, small private school in the Detroit area. And we tried, since you know, COVID was your chance, quite honestly. It was your chance when homecoming came around to jump on the numbers. We have about 6,000 alumni, but what you get with these small private elite schools is they're all over. So they're not coming home, and the giving level is very, very low because it's not a faith-based school where you get, you know, much bigger give. And so this was our opportunity to really go after these people from around the globe that maybe haven't been back in 30 years and try to lock them in. And we tried the breakout rooms, and it was just sort of a mess because everyone was so excited to see, you know, and then you bring in the big ringer teachers, right, that people remember, and or the football player or the whoever, and they didn't want to be in a breakout room. It got sort of awkward where it's maybe us and you're thinking, hey, did you guys see so and so? They were there, and now, yeah. So I think he made a really great point.
Great. Any other thoughts or suggestions? Of course, this is my email, phone, office cell is an open line of communication. So I highly encourage you to share any ideas, or if there's something that you're specifically interested in, we're here to help you get connected. We're here to make that happen. I know I can't say that enough, but it's true. There's so many great things happening in the college, student recruitment. I know, and this year we did, or was it last year? We did I don't even know what year it is. We did the postcards to admitted students. That was an idea that was suggested from an alum, and we were able to make that happen, and it worked out really well. We love that postcard campaign. So if there are things that you can bring to the table or that you've tried in other areas that we could bring to the University of Toledo, please share. We would love to hear your ideas.
Yeah, I do like the postcard. I like the postcard. I could sit down on a weekend and do it. So I like the idea. I did it when it came here.
That's nice. Thank you for that.
I got caught up in looking at everyone's handwriting. I was like, how is my handwriting so bad compared to, just hundreds we were going through, and oh man, I had to step my game up. And the messages were so great. It was incredible to hear. We expected like very generic messages to be written on the postcards, but some alumni were sharing their stories and had little, personal touches. It was
like,
really
I was
cool.
like, Toledo saved my life. Let me tell you. Sent me to the tech school, put me on, and then I got 2 master's degrees. All because I'm sure the kid was like, what?
All right. Well, some things that I will send some dates your way. This was recorded, so I will upload this to our Alumni Association College of Arts and Letters page, and I will share that with all of you so you're able to go back through and listen to the recording. We do have our next meeting date scheduled for, and Kate, I'm going to look it up since I got it wrong in the email. April 6th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time will be our next meeting date. And like I said, we continue to do these board meetings monthly. If you know someone that is a graduate of the college and you think they would be interested in joining us, please extend an invitation. The more the merrier. We're really just looking to grow the board and continue to network with fellow arts and letters alums. Keep in mind, we always have to educate people that the College of Arts and Letters it's a new name, but it encompasses many, many years of those degrees. So Charlene has done a really great job of helping us to spread that word. So with that, I will thank all of you for joining us. Any last minute questions or thoughts for the group that you wanted to share?
Thanks, everybody. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting everybody. Goodbye.
Nice meeting you as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.